folks, Saturday the 26th of April, and we're going to go visit an old historic site here in Georgia. Has to do with the Civil War. This place is about an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes from where I'm camped. So it's a long drive over there, but we'll get there. Hope everybody will enjoy it. And we'll see you when we get there. Folks, we are at Andersonville, National Historic Site. Many prisoners were kept here during the Civil War. Yeah. So, let's take a walk down through here and see what we can see. This will be the north gate, and we drove in on the old Andersonville trail. Had a 3/4 mile perimeter, had 2 entrances. So, and this little branch right here, this is where they used to get their water, but they used to also use it as their bathroom. And eventually it got to where the flow would not leave the camp. As you can see, there's a sign right there. Water unfit for human consumption. Please do not drink. Providence Spring. A spring of purest crystal water shot up into the air in a column and falling in a fan-like spray went babbling down the grade into the noxious brook. Looking across the dead line, we beheld with wondering eyes and grateful hearts the fountain spring. Let's see, during a heavy rainstorm on August 14th, 1864, a spring suddenly gushed from this hillside. The prisoners were desperate for fresh water, and over time the event became legendary. Several men claimed to have seen lightning strike this spot just before the spring burst. This damp slope with its many natural seeps would appear to be a likely site for a spring. Workmen may have inadvertently buried the spring's outlet while digging the stockade trench. Whether an act of nature or divine providence, the effect of the stream was an answer to thousands of prayers. And here again, we have another sign. Water unfit for human consumption. Providence Springs. They got it now housed in this little mausoleum type thing. So, pavilion was erected by the Women's Relief Corps Auxiliary of the Grand Army of the Republic in grateful memory of the men who suffered and died in the Confederate prison at Andersonville, Georgia from February 1864 to April 1865. The prisoners' cry of thirst rang up to heaven. God heard, and with his thunder cleft the earth and poured his sweetest waters, gushing here, erected 1901. With charity to all and malice towards none, this fountain, erected by the National Association of Union Ex-Prisoners of War in memory of the 52,345 comrades who were confined here as prisoners of war, and of the 13,900 comrades buried in the adjoining National Cemetery. Dedicated Memorial Day, May 30th, 1901. James Atwell, National Commander. S.M. Long, Adjutant General. J.D. Walker, Chairman, I guess, ex-committee. So, And as you can see, the spring flows down. Here. Nice, people been dropping coins in there. Right on down through. And then into the stream down there where the soldiers use their useful latrine. So we're going to take a walk up to the stockade there and see what that's all about. This is actually a replica of the gate that would have been here, I believe. A tight stockade. And you can see here, all this is where the soldiers would have, or the prisoners would have lived. It was all open. They had tents, some of them. So, yeah. World of Lost Spirits. Yeah. And you would have actually entered from this side here and gone through. And that wall there would have gone clean around the field. So, oh Lord. That stone right there marks the south gate of the prison. Yeah, south gate. There's the deadline. I'm not exactly sure what a deadline is as it refers to the prison here. That may have been, I don't know. I have to look it up. I don't know. And there's the corner of the stockade. So from this point here, this is where the commander, Captain Henry Wurz, would have been. And looking out over that, and it's hard to see here, but you have white posts out there. You can see those white posts there. That marks the perimeter all the way around this field of the prison itself. And according to history, the Americus, which is 10 miles south of here, people living down there used to complain of the smell coming from the prison. So imagine that, just 50,000 soldiers crammed into that field out there. And there's some monuments up there, and we will stop and visit those also. Then over here we have something else. And we have a sign here. Boy, I like that. It says, wasp nest under bridge, do not disturb. Wasps can become aggressive if the nest is disturbed. Stay away, keep a safe distance from this. In case of sting, seek medical attention. So we'll walk across this quietly. So this is Star Fort here. We have some cannons. So man, the sun's bright, ain't it? Within the stronghold stood the officers of the post commander and the prison commandant. Fort and headquarters were symbols of power, but the fully enclosed earthworks also reflect the authorities' besieged state of mind. Hampered by supply shortages and a constant influx of new prisoners, Confederates here were responsible for operating a prison camp under conditions they could hardly control. 4 of the Star Force cannons were trained to repel Union cavalry raids. The other 5 cannon were aimed toward the north slope of the prison camp. Okay. So they were ready to lay waste to the prisoners if they had to. So, let's go out here and take a look at these cannons. Here we have one cannon, because it's been plugged. Same with that one over there. .3-inch ordnance rifle, model 1861. These guns could defend against a cavalry attack. Loaded and aimed at the prison yard, Confederate cannon also discouraged mass escape. Gun tube brought iron is 817 pounds. Projectile shell and case shot. Range half mile with case shot. So, and what's on the other side of this mound? It's probably just an observation mound to direct the fire. Yeah, there's nothing here. So, okay. And let's sneak back across this bridge and without waking the wasp up. So I'll bring y'all back when we get to the next spot. Okay, folks, this empty field you're looking at here was the site of the third and last hospital. There were 2 previous hospitals within 9 months. It did not take prisoners long to realize that few patients returned knowing that medicines were in short supply. Even the sickest men resisted going to the hospital. They preferred to die among friends and regimental comrades. So, and prison conditions were so unsanitary that the slightest scratch could provide an entry for deadly microbes. Doctors experimented with local herbs and folk remedies in a desperate attempt to combat rampant infections. So that be the field there. So there's a diagram of everything right there. And from this field, you're looking over this way towards the prison camp. So let's move along, see what there is to see. Okay, folks, this area here was known as the sinks or latrines. This is where the camp would come and do what they had to do. According to the Confederates' original plan, prisoners would get drinking water upstream and use latrines downstream where the current would flush sewage out of the camp. Inadvertently, the prison was designed for death. Stockade posts slowed the drainage, and during dry spells, the creek became more swamp than flowing stream. Dysentery swept the camp. So, you can see those white posts down there, I hope. And the deadline, what I have figured out, is a point where you do not go beyond that or you get shot. So, and they say there's venomous snakes down in there right now, so sign right there says venomous snakes in the area. We're not looking for those, so. But here is the board. You can pause it and read it. Pictures of the old prison camp in there. And Confederate A.J. Riddle took this photograph of the latrines in August 1864. Though living space was at a premium, 5 to 6 acres near the creek remained vacant. Charles C. Fosdick, 5th Iowa Infantry, February 26, 1864. This is what he said. Our new camp was on 2 steep hillsides, at the base of which was a great quagmire. This was ditched through the center with a narrow, shallow stream, which was very sluggish on account of the small supply of water and the slight descent of the ground. So, we are headed up that way, folks. We'll be back in a minute. And you can see the wall over there. That was the gate coming into the prison where we was at earlier. There. Okay. This is the view from a pigeon roost. This photograph was taken in August of 1864 from a sentry box just downslope from here. The photographer was A.J. Riddle, who was preparing a report for the Confederate government. Just downslope there, I guess they called that the pigeon roost. Riddle's 7 glass plate negatives were apparently the only photographs taken of Andersonville prison during the war. Like a double exposure, the surviving photos superimpose the historic reality on today's pastoral scene. You are looking at the same piece of ground Riddle photographed, right there, from that to that. So, we're going to go up there and visit. We will get out and check those monuments out over there. So, we'll be back in a minute.